I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me.
Chances are you've seen the US and Mexico border portrayed like this: tall steel fences wrapped in razor wire, cutting through deserts and towns to stop illegal crossings. But that's just part of the story. The border stretches nearly 2,000 miles, and much of it runs through remote, rugged terrain. Curious about what it's really looked like out here, we arrived last night at a dispersed campsite near the Elliott Mine area to meet a friend, and start a 2 day journey into the Southern California's desert. We finally made it to the border after a short hike. From a distance over in San Diego and Tijuana, the spectacular Trump wall stands. But up close is a different story. The fence here is rusted, broken in place. There's even a trail that cuts right through the border. Scattered nearby, we found a torn pink suitcase. In the bushes, pieces of clothing, shredded documents. It all felt quiet, but heavy. You can sense the people pass through here, leaving fragments of their past behind. As we turned to leave, one last sight caught my eye: a cactus growing right through the border fence, half of it in Mexico, half in the United States. To us, this line shaped the course of a life: where you are allowed to go, who you are allowed to become. But to the cactus, it means nothing, just like the coyote slipping silently across the fence at night. And maybe that's the quiet truth out here. Some boundaries matter deeply, but only because we as an aggregate choose to believe they do. It's complicated. On one hand, this rusted boundary, fragile and fading, feels almost negligible in the immensity of the desert. One could step across it without even knowing. And yet, people risk their lives to do just that. A line drawn by humans, made real by faith, desperation, and hope. Some flee cartel violence, corruption, or poverty, so deep that they see no other way around. But what about those who wait in line for years, spending their life savings on paperwork and legal fees, trying to play by the rules? Is it fair for them? To the people who follow the system? Or the taxpayers who sustain it, if others bypass it completely? Still, is it just to deny someone a shot at safety, simply because they were born on the other side of a line and couldn't afford a lawyer? These are questions that call for reflection, not resolution, and I am still figuring them out myself. After a big brunch, we packed up and set out to explore a decommissioned military installation near the Salton Sea. The Salton Sea itself is a fascinating story, but that's a story for another day. Just west of the shoreline sits the Salton Sea Test Base, established by the US Navy in 1942. It served as a hub for rocket development, jet fuel testing, and parachute trails for the Mercury space program. The first atomic bomb dropped in Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, by the Enola Gay crew was actually based on a prototype first tested here, where B-29s from Wendover, Utah dropped dummy atomic bombs onto a floating target in the middle of the Salton Sea. But in time, both the sea and the base began to fade. The shoreline receded, fish and birds died off, tourists left, the test base was decommissioned, abandoned to the sun and dust. What's left now are broken concrete pads, rusted steel, graffiti-covered bunkers, and a few massive evaporation pits, remnants of a short-lived attempt in the early 2000s to lower the lake's salinity. The metallic box you see here is believed to be the mounting base for a theodolite, an optical tracking system likely used to monitor the flight patterns and parameters of bombs tested over the Salton Sea. Before we knew it, the sun had started to dip, and we found a decent spot to camp. After a long day of driving, fueled only by a yogurt bowl, we're all craving something warm and comforting. Dinner for tonight is curry chicken over rice. I made two silly mistakes here. First, I completely forgot to defrost the chicken thighs earlier in the day, so when I pulled them out from the fridge, there are still one giant ice brick sealed in a Ziploc bag. Without properly defrosting it, there's no way to get a good sear on the side. Second, ironically, while I remembered to pack the rice cooker for the trip, I somehow forgot to swap out the stew pot on the truck for a bigger one to accommodate 4 people. I had to use the biggest thing I had, my Chinese wok. And even that wasn't big enough for us, so I had to cook the curry in 2 batches. It's nowhere near the best curry I've ever made, but out here in the middle of the desert, we were all pretty happy with what we had. After breakfast, we head deeper into the California desert. To better prepare for the relentless washboard roads ahead, we air down our tires before entering the badlands. Traversing between the cliffs, it feels like a bit like the Narrows in Zion National Park. Only this one's been sun-baked and stripped down to its driest bones. We wrapped up our trip at Fons Point in Anza-Borrego State Park, just in time for a golden hour. As the sun sunk low, the badlands lit up with texture and depths. Every ridge casts a sharp shadow, every curve glowed in warm light. Alrighty, this is it for this one. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate that. I'm just getting started with making videos and still figuring things out as I go. I'm aiming to upload weekly if things go smoothly, so if you enjoy this, feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing. See you in the next one.